You need to hold out hope for Fortnite OG. Now, in general, you guys, I think it's safe to say that the community has seemed a bit bleak surrounding the entire idea of Fortnite OG really ever since it released a few months ago. Especially in Season 1, you guys, with how, kind of boring and bland and kind of like a blank slate the game was at that point, and as the player counts have dwindled much lower than a lot of people thought they would, it seems like people really just don't care about Fortnite OG, and a lot of people are saying things about how it's not as popular, Fortnite OG was just nostalgia, etc, etc. But specifically recently, Fortnite Season 3 OG has faced some backlash and felt a bit less hype than normal because of the quality of the OG pass as well as the lack of major game changes from Season 2 to Season 3. Now, I thought this was to be expected, as you know, Season 2 had tilted towers, shifty shafts, and that giant mid-season update where all of those things were added. In Season 3, I believe the only new location we get is Lucky Landing and a few changes to the loot pool. But other than that, it makes sense why Fortnite Season 2 was more popular than Season 3 in general, but some people are just blowing it way out of proportion. Now, where this all stems from is I see people just about every day on social media, on YouTube, in my comments, saying that Fortnite OG is dead, and I honestly think that that is probably one of the stupidest things that I have ever heard about Fortnite in general, and here is why. I think a lot of people continue to compare this OG mode, this permanent OG mode, to Season OG that we had back in November 2023 at the end of Chapter 4, and I think it's just unfair and is a horrible comparison in general. If you think about it, you guys, that was the first time that Fortnite OG ever came back. The first time the Chapter 1 map came back, one of the most highly anticipated things in gaming, in my opinion, was the return of the original map in Fortnite, and it was only back for a month. There was a lot of urgency to play it, so of course it was going to have millions of players every single day. They knew it wasn't going to be there forever, and people were desperate to relive those old memories, and this is a big thing that I thought was going to happen with Fortnite OG, is obviously it wouldn't be as less popular, one, because it's going through every season every other month, so it's a bit slower. It's not like you don't have to play it right now if you don't want to. Secondly, people have already went back and relived those memories, especially with, creative maps getting a little bit better, like Reboot and Rewind. I'm not sure how many people play those, but those were starting to get better over time, and people in general just have already went back and seen, this is what it was like back in the day, and already relived those memories from November, which is obviously going to make it a little bit less hype. Now, going back to the whole dead thing, you guys, I think if you look at the combined player counts of all of the OG modes, even the ones that are very low, and even when, OG ranked zero build was in there, which just got removed, even though they were very low player counts, it would be great for literally any other game out there. I think that there's a lot of bias that people have for Fortnite because they set it it's such a high standard because of Fortnite's success over the years. Of course, Fortnite was one of literally the most popular game of all time back in the day, and they had millions of people playing the game every single day. So when they see it not doing as well, maybe 500,000 or 300,000 playing instead of, a million, they're going to be like, oh, this game died, this game fell off. But relatively speaking to any other game, those would be very, very good numbers. Even if we just look at the OG modes by themselves, any game would love to have those numbers consistently. So saying that the OG mode is dead, I understand if you look at it in comparison to Fortnite's previous success, yes, I guess it is dead or dying, but that's just completely unfair and not true. But I want to emphasize to you guys how Fortnite Season 3 is just the beginning of the revitalized beginnings of the Fortnite storyline. Like I said, people around Fortnite OG and the fans of it around Season 3 have just felt really, really bleak in general, and not many people are excited for it, and that's why these kind of thoughts about, is Fortnite OG dying, why is it not popular, have been kind of revitalized. Now, even though the storyline is pretty much spoiled and we know what is going to happen throughout all of Chapter 1, you can literally just look up what happens and it'll tell you, it will still be very cool to see it happen again, and new players will be able to experience it for the first time. The dread that you feel of the meteor about to hit the map and the excitement of wondering where it's going to hit is still kind of there, even though we know it's going to hit Dusty Depot, but it's so awesome to see that hype built up again. I think that's really cool, and to have something like that in Fortnite, we really haven't had any other meteors in the sky like this, so I think that will be really cool to see for new players. And again, you guys, something that a lot of people are kind of glazing over and not really talking about, in the Fortnite OG mode, we are going to be going through all of the events supposedly, and they're going to be taking place again in the OG mode as we go through all of these seasons. Now, there's even been rumors that we could possibly see a mini event of the meteor actually hitting Dusty Depot this time, because of course back in Season 3 into Season 4, we didn't actually see the meteor hit, it just had the big divot in where Dusty Depot is. We actually didn't get to see it hitting the map, but that is just a rumor at this point. There's nothing confirmed that it will actually hit Dusty Depot or not for a mini event, but that would be really, really cool to see. In addition, you guys, that means that literally every other month we could be seeing being an event, because this was around the time Fortnite was doing seasonal giant events where they're not mini events, they're actually full-scale awesome events that kind of shaped what Fortnite is today and why people hold Fortnite to such a high standard with events like the Mech versus Monster, the Volcano event, the Rocket event. Things like that are going to be so awesome to see, and I can't wait to experience them all over again. Now, I'm asking you guys to hold out hope for Fortnite OG and to not get too excited or enveloped with the people saying that this mode is dead or is dying, because that's simply not true. Even if one wanted to argue that it was, there's no doubt the hype will build back up as the seasons get better. As you guys know, we have so many greater seasons ahead of us. We have season 7, 6, 8, season X, all of these great seasons that we're going to be able to experience all over again with awesome gameplay mechanics that are going to make Fortnite OG just that much better. But overall, you guys, I'm very excited for the rest of Fortnite OG to release, but I'm even more excited to see what exactly they're going to do beyond season X of Fortnite when chapter 1 ended, if anything. If you guys want to hear me talk about that a little bit more, that video will be in the top right of your screen here. But let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comments. Do you guys think that Fortnite OG is dead or dying? Let me know. Drop a like on today's video. You watched all the way to the end. You must have enjoyed, so drop a like. Subscribe to the channel. I make videos like these every single day. Use code PROZEROYT to help support me, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.